Hey, what's up guys? Clash Royale has just brought out new big balance changes, severely shaking up the meta. There's a new spell in the game called Void that wrecks any individual unit or building. You have to build with it or against it. Of course, giant beatdown decks are still unbelievably overpowered, but there's some fresh additions with Inferno Tower cycle decks and a powerful Pekka bridge spam deck to keep your opponents on their toes. Shout out to everyone that's using credit code SIRTAG, making all the videos on this channel possible. And check out the pinned comment if you want to see full videos on any of the decks showcased today. All right, so we got a game against someone with a wizard banner. You already know that this deck is well equipped to handle wizard. You're gonna end up having the knight to body block, and you're gonna cycle the knight anyway, so it makes sense to just to spam it as much as you possibly can. Getting to the evolutions is the way to win in Clash Royale. And this is actually my favorite deck to play right now in the meta. Out of all the decks that we're gonna be showcasing today, this one is the strongest. Just because you're gonna have Inferno Tower to melt giants and beatdown decks, where Void is prevalent in the meta right now, Void counters every other building. There's not a cannon or Tesla that's gonna stay safe when your opponent decides to go for a Void. So because of that, I persuade myself to go and play Inferno Tower whenever I possibly can. Because you can block the Void spell using your Goblin Gang or Skeletons, and then you can just continuously keep it alive. Also, this guy is so triggered. Look at that. He drops a Void in a tornado. That's 6 elixir on our 6 elixir investment of the Knight and a Princess. And then we get a lot of damage on the tower. I don't know how much damage that is going to be, but my editor will show real soon. And I just hit my microphone because I'm a superbly intelligent individual. So intelligent that I can't even say intelligent correctly. And we're doing well, though. We are surprising our opponent. How does it feel to lose to an idiot like me that can't even say intelligent correctly and you are getting throttled? I'm going to go for a poison right now, and I wonder if I can go and continue to spam here. But the main thing that this deck is like strong into is giant or any like Lovehound deck, because the Inferno Tower shreds it. And then obviously he's got Void, so it's kind of cool to be able to show how this deck is able to beat the best meta strategy in the game right now. So we're going to wait for that monk to die, and then since we have the evolved knight here, it's in my best interest to go for a princess and then going for a log just to stop the wizard from locking onto us. Oh my gosh, what did I hit? I don't even know what I hit, but that worked well. We're hitting up with a lot of damage. He's going to go for an ice wizard, and that's dead as well. Dude, he is dead in the water. There is no way he's stopping this spam. We are snagging the bag, and I wonder if we can secure another tower here. He just rage quit. He voided our 3 crown because he doesn't want to play the match. That is the reason why this deck is so good. It demoralizes opponents with the best decks in the game. And I love how the skeletons multiply endlessly as well. You are able to end your opponent with skeletons just lurking through the shadows. When your opponent goes in for a spell to remove your Goblin Barrel or your Goblin Gang or Princess, beyond a shadow of a doubt, they're going to die to the evolved skeletons. And we got another one. This guy's got another wizard in the banner. We are running wizards back to back out here, brother. So I could be annoying and go for Princess at the river. This is generally not a smart decision, but when you have Dagger, Duchess, if your opponent spams anything at the river, notice how the Phoenix is obliterated. We get 2 Princess hits on the tower, that's 500 damage. Meanwhile, his Phoenix is decapitated by our Princess. Well, I guess not our Princess, the Dagger Duchess. I wonder if the Dagger Duchess is offended whenever I call it Princess Tower. In the lore, it says that the Dagger Duchess is offended when you say Princess Tower, but I personally don't buy it. I feel like the Princess is prettier, she is superior, she is tried and true. If anything, like, you should be complimented by calling yourself a princess. Anyway, we're gonna go in for our Princess on the left-hand side. I guess we have a Princess in our deck working with the Dagger Duchess. So they're kind of the tandem pair to give our opponents a scare. And his Dagger Duchess is not doing so well. If you guys are wondering why I'm not responding to the Fisherman, it actually just dies. It straight up just gets ended, obliterated by the Dagger Duchess. And it's kind of an unfair interaction because it's 3 elixir, and you would assume a 3 elixir card would be able to do something, but it doesn't. So we're going to go for a Knight at the River, we're going to go Goblin Gang, and we should be able to get back to our Inferno Tower to melt this giant. I'm not even slightly scared here, because I know that the Inferno Tower kills the giant. Spirit Goblin's locking onto the tower, forces out more elixir from our opponent, and notice how he voids this, and it doesn't matter. He's just doing a terrible decision. If you void plus giant, that's 8 elixir. I spend 5 with an Inferno Tower, and then you just spend a lot more elixir than me and get nothing. So congratulations, you won a bad prize. It's not even congratulations, it's congratulation. He only got 1 of them because he's not winning, so he's got 1 of something. Not the game though. We're gonna be going in for our Princess, and then we can maybe go for a log, and I think that this is our best interest to just go in for the Knight here, and then go in for a Skeleton sprinkled in, and then go for a Goblin Gang. If you guys are wondering why we're doing that, is we want to force out the spell on the right-hand side so he has nothing for the evolved skeletons. If they can start to multiply, we might just win the game. Unfortunately, after the nerf, they don't multiply as fast, and the evolved barbarians still have the stacking attack speed. So, you know, it's just going to happen that way where the skeletons don't multiply through everything with one skeleton and delete a 5 elixir evolution. It's kind of more in line with like the 1 elixir evolution line that you would expect. They're still super strong on defense, but they're not absolutely overpowered on offense to 3-crown every single opponent. It still can work. I mean, it probably will work a few times today and other days, but it's not necessarily like as reliable and stupid as it used to be. And that's good. I like still running cards that, you know, are strong but not extremely overpowered. So again, we can use our Void counter with the Goblin Gang and Skeletons, and then we can go for a Knight afterward, so then his Wizard is going to get vanished. Also, even if we take some damage here, we should be able to go Princess of the River, then go for a Goblin Barrel, force out the arrows or a spell on the Princess, because if he doesn't, then he loses. But then if he does, then he loses the poison and the Goblin Barrel. So no matter what, this guy was going to take a gigantic loss with his Giant deck, as we stay winning and Goblin Barreling up ranks to 4,100 in the world. Hey, we're playing against the rank 9 player in the world. What the heck? You'll fly into the game against a rank 9 finisher. This guy also has a level 14 Knight. This is going to be a really ridiculous game. We're playing against one of the best players in the world. Also, he's running a Prince deck like us, but he's running the Dark Prince for splash damage. I think it's going to be better for us to go and pop the Little Prince ability. And now we've got every Prince in the game on the map. The Little Prince, the Dark Prince, and the regular Prince. I think that our Lance is just a little bit longer and stronger. So our Prince is going to win out. And then we can go in for a Giant in front of our Little Prince. Unfortunately, our regular Prince was just a meat shield. And now our opponent's also going to drop a regular Prince too. Dang. I guess there's just Princes in abundance today. All right, if I Lightning, that's just a bit of an over-exaggeration of... I mean, I think we just do it. We kill the Prince, right? Yeah, I think we kill the Prince. Do we kill the Prince before it hits my tower? I don't know. Come on, Dagger, Duchess, let's go. I was going to say it was going to be an overcommitment. And I said over-exaggeration, but yeah, I was going to say it's a little bit overextension there. Too much elixir spent in single elixir means that your opponent counter-pushing with any reliable stuff in front of that Prince means that they pretty much win the game. But I assumed he wouldn't have enough elixir, and it looks like I was right. We're going to go in for the Knight, and then we're also going to go for the Prince because we have more damage per second with that. And then we can also pop through with the Little Prince. So as long as this guy doesn't get fancy with the Lightning, we're fine. If he Lightning on top of all 3 of our units, that would have been horrible for me. If I Giant right now, is there any way I win? Like if I Giant left-hand side, can we get enough damage with that to win the game? That's what I'm wondering. Usually you don't want to switch sides when you've already done that amount of damage. But if he's going to already drop a Knight, there's a chance that would have been the right strategy. I bet you he goes in for a Prince on top of the Giant, giving us an opportunity to go in for the Bomber. And that's exactly what we anticipated. But I really wasn't prepared for him to go all in on us. He's dropping more elixir on the other side. Oh, he's forced to defend. He's dropping an Electro Wizard to reset our... oh, man. If he's going to reset all of that and he resets our Bomber, I think our push is rather desperate now on the left-hand side. Because if he gets any... okay, never mind. He doesn't get that much damage. We're able to afford the Prince and we're fine. I was going to say, if he gets any bit of damage to the left-hand side, kind of have to make a fearsome counter push. Fortunately for us, the Evo Knight was able to protect the right. And he didn't get anything because the Dark Prince wasn't really that scary. All right, we could Lightning on all 3 of his units, but I don't think that's worth it. I think it's better to just wait and see if he drops the Giant, which he probably will. Yep, there's the Giant. So we wanted the Lightning on that and the Mega Minion, and then also the Prince. And I think that was the best possible play. Because we Lightning on top of like a 0 HP Knight feels like we're kind of wasting some elixir there. So GG and well played on our end, and yeah, we'll jump on to the next one. It's always fun to beat someone that's ranked 9 in the world. It's not easy playing against people of this skill level. All right, we got a game against someone with the Dagger Duchess banner, and they're not using Dagger Duchess Tower. What's up with that, dude? Snipes is in his name, and we'll see if he's going to be sniping a Giant Graveyard deck today. If he wanted to snipe me, he would probably put in a Dark Goblin, a Poison, Barbarians, and practically every answer in the book. But I think he's mistook. He is definitely not going to be sniping us if he's going to go for an Elixir Collector in that positioning. Because we can go for Barbarians, and then we can go for a Snowball on top of the Bats, the Elixir Collector, and the Tower. That is incredible. Look at the Graveyard Skeletons surrounding the Tower, putting our opponent in a position of pain and disdain as he takes over 1,000 damage. So being able to ransack the elixir collector like that puts us in a position where we don't have to worry about it anymore. Also, you're pretty bold running elixir collector in a meta where void is predominantly played, because void gives you a massive pause elixir trade, shattering the elixir collector before anything can happen. It has to be a 3 musketeers deck after we see a heal spirit here, so I'm banking on the fact that we can go for bats and then possibly even arrows. There's a high likelihood that he would go in for the monk ability, but he didn't do it. Oh, let's go! The arrows made their mark and tore the bats down, also putting us in a position where we can ignore the knight. So now we can go for barbarians, and we can go in with a graveyard if we see anything of the sort of going for elixir collector. If he decides not to, it's better for us to slow roll a witch, start to deplete. Well, I guess he doesn't have the Dagger Duchess daggers. Usually you go witch in the back, the skeletons start to spawn, the skeletons die to the tower, but you're still getting the benefit because the Dagger Duchess isn't able to get their full daggers on top of your graveyard because it's wasted on the graveyard skeletons and then also the witch skeletons at the same time. Wait, can we go for a snowball here with the witch? Preserve the witch at all costs. Do not burn her. Yes, witch, you're beautiful. Spawn more skeletons. Spawn more skeletons, please. All right, the monk is about to hurt her a lot, but it's all good. We were able to get a lot of damage from her in the meantime. Also, we should be able to finish off the monk here. If he pops the ability, it's not that big of a deal. It's 500 damage on my tower. But at the same time, he loses the monk ability, so he can't kill Little Prince. He's not able to get anything from this monk from this point on. So I'm going to go bats here. I think we can go for... Ooh, wow. 3 musketeers all down the middle. That's not what we wanted to see. Bats might give us some value, but it's not an abundance of value. Also, if you're unaware, the 1 musketeer just dies to the Dagger Duchess. We don't have to worry about it. It's gone. It gets 1 hit on my tower. It's extremely ignorable. So we can go for barbarians now too, and then I think we go for Little Prince in the middle, pop the ability, and also go for a snowball. We're dedicating a lot of elixir here to guarantee that we can keep everything alive, but it's well worth it, right? You don't want to be overcommitting and then not having elixir to defend against E-barbs. It's one of the worst feelings in the world losing to that card. Also, what if we go graveyard on you and ignore the monk? We're going to put you in an irreconcilable funk. There's no way he's stopping this right now. Even if he rages, look at the graveyard skeletons surrounding and pounding the tower, tossing him into the depths of despair. And honestly, bro, this isn't very fair. Our deck is just superior, and it will crush every elixir collector deck because you can't pump up, you'll lose to giant graveyard, you just don't have enough elixir to defend. All right, we got a game here. So first things first, we are definitely gonna go for skellies in the back and see what this guy's cooking. You already know if we are able to cycle our skeletons and our bomber, that's gonna be our best way of winning. I want to go in for some spam on the right-hand side. Unfortunately for us, we are playing against someone that does not have the Dagger Duchess. Dagger Duchess deletes our bait cards, so it's very fortunate that we got lucky enough not to match into that. So I can go for an Ice Spirit here, maybe be able to pull him a little bit. Ooh, this is not good. That's going to do a ton of damage to my tower. Okay, we're still fine, and we can activate King Tower against this Firecracker, but also at the same time, I feel a little bit bad doing this. Spending a bunch of extra elixir to stop him from getting damage with this Firecracker. Like, I'm gonna go for another Ice Spirit, another Electric Spirit, and it's just dealing more and more damage here. It's unfortunate because our Dagger Duchess wasn't able to prioritize what we wanted. Anyway, we can go for an Evolved Skeletons as well. Kind of waiting to see what he does. Yeah, let's go for Evolved Skeletons. Let's spam on both sides simultaneously and just keep up the pressure to the point that he might make a mistake. We're hoping that he makes a mistake and lets one of the skeletons lock on the tower. Just one for the one time. Yes! Let's go. We split him every which way until we won. And that is one of the reasons why this deck actually works super well in specific situations where the opponent just looks at it and they think that the skeleton's going to die, but you freeze the tower with an Ice Spirit or Electric Spirit, giving you that slight opportunity to get the 3 crown. 3 crowning with a 1.3 elixir deck should never be possible, but this deck is supremely slimy. Yo, we got a game against someone with Balloon in their banner. So, first play for us is the Cycle the Wizard. Usually, if your opponent's going to go for a Balloon, it's important to be able to counter that with your Void. So if they spam a Balloon at the river, we should be fine, even if our Wizard is out of cycle, which is definitely our best anti-air answer. But we want to be springing forth with our evolutions, and that is one of the best things to do. Just spam your Wizard at the start. Also, Little Prince is gone, deleted by the Void spell, 3 for 3, not a bad trade for me. And he loses the Knight. We're in a decent position. Overall, like, pretty similar elixir counts. And also on top of that, we've progressed our evolution cycle. This guy hasn't. He's going to be going in for the bomber in the back, so now we can go in for our Little Prince in the same side. I wonder if I can go in for a Pekka in front of this. Because we don't have Void Spell, it's kind of unfortunate for me to be able to go in for like a Pekka too far in front. So instead, we're going to play passively and throw down our Pekka in the back. Ooh, he's going to have Electro Giant. I did not see that happening. All right, so you always want to go for your Wizard here, because then they can't Void on top of the wizard. Oh, he misses the tornado. Oh, there's no way. That is totally tragic. I don't even have words to describe how sad this man must be. So I'm going to go in for a bandit here and a royal ghost instead of the battle ram because the battle ram dies. And it's just not really a good decision in this predicament. It's important for us to go in for a little bit more pressure than a battle ram that's just going to die to the freaking Dagger Duchess tower. So you want to support the battle ram with a bandit or a Pekka when you're going in for it into a Dagger Duchess. You don't want to leave it alone, stranded without any support. Also, if I slow roll Pekka in the back right now, I think it's not going to be advised. I want to go for battle ram and see what he does, and then we might be able to surprise him with the Pekka at the river here. Usually I wouldn't do this, but in a situation where our opponent probably isn't going to have much of a defense besides cannon, I think that this is an okay play. If they go in for anything on top of the Pekka, it should just get deleted, and then the battle ram is able to kill the cannon, and then the Pekka goes towards the tower now. They have to go for an Electro Giant, but if they go for an Electro Giant, it is into a Pekka, so the Pekka is able to munch. And then we can have the Electro Giant for lunch, popping it back into the Pekka using the Guardian ability. So I wonder if they're going to be able to do much, because we can Void directly on top of the Little Prince, even if he goes in for something to body block his Little Prince. The thing is, if the Void gets its first duration, its first swing in, then the rest of the Little Prince, it's unsalvageable. You can't keep it alive. So if I get the full damage of it only targeting one card, since the Void does maximum damage targeting one card, then even if he drops things later on and it's targeting two cards for the rest of it, the Void still cleans up the Little Prince. So usually we want to go and drop this on the Little Prince first, because the other cards don't matter near as much. Because the Little Prince does damage over time, the other cards kind of don't really do much. Like the Electro Giant's just going to be tickling me. The Bomber doesn't do that much damage. It's kind of just splash damage in a vehicle for him to cycle the evolution. Now we can go for a Battle Ram here. And I might be able to bolster our offensive potential here, popping through with the Battle Ram and then going for an Evolved Wizard at the river. And I don't know if he's able to defend the Little Prince or the Barbarians. We are swinging for the fences, and we're popping through with an ability, snagging the tower with the Barbarian with his last dying breath. His sword comes down and slashes the tower. I had no faith in our Barbarian. I thought he was going to strike out, but instead he struck down the tower. That game could have easily lasted a minute longer, but our Barbarian saved us and allowed us to push up a lot quicker. Slash the like button with the Pekka sword if you enjoyed today's video, subscribe for more content, and have an amazing rest of your day.